if wars don't end quickly, they tend to get wider. And now we've got oil at $100 a barrel, and both sides in the Iran war looking as if they're back to where they were a few weeks ago with no real end in sight. CENTCOM have released this footage of the strikes overnight, 13th consecutive night of widespread strikes around Iran in an attempt to force the Iranians to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Well, while they're doing that, data and forensics at Sky have logged in the last 3 days an 80% increase in air traffic from the United States, the continental US, into Europe, bouncing out of Britain and Germany, in this case, into the region. That's relatively normal. It's what they do. But the fact that there's been such a spike in air activity in the last 3 days tells me that the Americans are preparing now to continue their current policy for the indefinite future. They probably think they've got to give the president options to carry on as if nothing else has changed and just keep hitting Iran for as long as it might take. And so overnight, the Iranians have been hit all the way down the coast. I mean, we know that they've been hit quite badly in Qeshm Island there, opposite Bandar Abbas, and several other places, even as far north as Isfahan. And equally, the Iranians have responded with their strikes, as they've done before, with strikes on American bases in Jordan, Kuwait and Bahrain, and they've hit further north in Iraq, at American bases in Iraq, and even as far up as the Kurdish areas of Iraq, in Erbil, right up in the north, in the mountains. They've hit really there. So the war is widening in that respect. But it's widening in other respects too. Remember that when this war began, this phase of the war, on the 28th of February, the Israelis were really quite glad to have an opportunity to attack Hezbollah, to break that ceasefire, because Hezbollah fired on them first, and they moved into Lebanon. The Israelis have got their own war to fight in southern Lebanon. It's consistent with what the Americans are doing in Iran, but the Israelis have got their own agenda. This is a war that is facilitated by the big war. And the other war is in Yemen. It rapidly became a proxy war between Saudi Arabia backing a deposed government and Iran backing the Houthis, who deposed the old government. Very complex situation. It sort of ran out of steam in 2020, and there was a ceasefire, then a peace process in 2022. But this week, the Houthis have said that they would fire on any Saudi tankers coming out through the Bab el-Mandeb Straits. And they fired on 2 tankers, damaged them. So all of the other Saudi tankers turned round and are sitting there in the Red Sea. There's nowhere they could go. So the Houthis are now making war again on the Saudis. They've reignited that war on behalf of Iran in the big war with the United States. So it all comes down to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Have a good look at this part of the map. You'll be seeing it for some time. We said a while ago that if the Strait of Hormuz and the Bab el-Mandeb Straits were closed simultaneously, then the world economy really would have a problem. And we're very, very close to that now. Bab el-Mandeb is narrower than the Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz is, at the narrowest point, 21 miles. Bab el-Mandeb is about 14 miles. And again, there's a separation traffic scheme up and down through the Bab el-Mandeb itself. Also, if anyone's interested, it's full of cables, power cables, fibre optic cables. There's an awful lot of damage you could do if you want to play games in the Bab el-Mandeb Straits. And the Houthis have now indicated that, at least in relation to Saudi Arabia, they're going to do that. And so here we are. Wars tend to get wider. This war, when it began on the 28th of February, was bad enough between the United States and Iran. It facilitated a resumption of the war between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. And now it has reawakened the war in Yemen, allowing the Houthis to come in to take up again their antagonism to their neighbour, Saudi Arabia.